Carlos, obviously it's been a tough few days. What sort of response have you seen from your players since Tuesday night?
Well, sorry?
What response?
What response have you seen from the players after a difficult night on Tuesday?
I was watching the right answer of the players, just to be concentrating the work, just to don't smile a lot, because for everyone was a hard moment to live, just to be ready and concentrate to recover very well from the previous game, and today to start to work like the preparation for the next one, because until today we couldn't prepare the next game. So I think the answer was the right one, because as a player we only can give the answer in the pitch, and we need to prepare to give this answer tomorrow.
You took responsibility for the result against Norwich, but actually sometimes do the players need to be held accountable? You would be well within your rights to say, players, that wasn't good enough, and publicly say that, as opposed to taking the responsibility yourself.
It was clear that we didn't perform well, and was clear that it's one responsibility of everyone that is in the pitch. When I say this, it's because I select the players to play that game. I select one plan that didn't work. I changed the plan in the halftime and didn't work neither. So when you are watching the player follow the ideas and the ideas are not working, that's why I like to take the responsibilities. And because I think always when you take the responsibilities, you are going to grow always. Because if you try to be looking for another way, you never take the responsibility and you never improve from this situation. It's easy for everyone to say that maybe the point was for another one, but it's clear that as a coach, I have to give a better solution. I didn't give the best solution, because if not, for me, the ideas could be hard working better. And of course, the player have to make the same exercise, but it's something that we do more private, like to be looking the responsibilities in everyone, because the only option that we have to do is to be looking that we could have done something else to can change the situation. If we accept the situation, we are not going to grow, we are not going to improve. The ideal thing is that everyone that was involved in that performance, especially my position, we always are going to take responsibilities, because we like to create this culture in our club to take responsibilities when the things are not working well, and to take responsibilities to try to change the things work well.
Did they fight hard enough for you, though?
Sorry?
Did they fight hard enough out on the pitch, even when things were going wrong? Did you see enough to suggest that they really cared about what happened on Tuesday night?
I think sometimes is when you put the game, you separate the game from the context of the game. Sometimes is you can analyze the thing in one way, and when you put the game in the context of the game, you can analyze different. I know how much effort the team did to take 1 point versus Brentford, because just 2 days before we were fighting a lot to take 1 point from Brentford. We played versus Norwich 1 day before that they play with us, so they have 1 day more of the recovery, but I don't think it's any type of excuse. And we were playing versus the best team in the league. So it was clear that we didn't perform enough well. Inside of the performance, there are many aspects. One is attack well, another one is defense well. I think only in the set pieces point of view, but nobody's care about these things, because at the end, the important is the result. But I think the only moment in the game that we balanced them was in the set pieces, because for me in defense we defense well, in attack we attack well. But all the other moments we didn't solve the action that we have to solve. In the pressing, in our playing out, they were better than us. We couldn't make any type of playing out, only in the first minute one action, but after this we disappeared. Some moments at the beginning of the second half, but it's the same. I cannot analyze the second half without knowing that they were winning 5-0 at that moment. So I cannot analyze trying to forget the context of the situation or the context of the game. So I think in the game, in attacking, in defensive half, they were better than us. In attacking offensive half, they were better than us. Defending in a high press, we create some problems to them, but at the same time, after they break our press in some moment of the first half, they create some problems too, like in the first goal. And after in attack, we couldn't show, or we didn't show anything that we want to show. So it was clear that the team, we didn't show our braveness in attack, we didn't show our identity to try to take the control of the ball, knowing that was a real challenge versus Norwich, and just 2 days after play with Brentford, because you don't have time enough, not just to prepare the game, just to recover yourself from the high level of effort that you did. Versus, I know that Norwich played one day before that we played versus Brentford. They were playing versus Preston. They were giving some rest to the international players. These players arrive and make a very good game for me, because for me Aaron was playing fantastic. For me, Skip was doing fantastic. The left back was playing fantastic, and all the players, they could make the rotation, and they use, for me, is one of the days where Norwich was performing really well, and we didn't perform in the way that in one football pitch we need to accept that we have to perform. So it was clear that we didn't perform. And the perform, like I told you, is the answer of many things.
You talk about bravery and identity. Are those going to be the key things that you need to see to beat Rotherham tomorrow?
With any double doubt, it's like this. Tomorrow is an opportunity to come clean the image, and my team is not going to change the page until tomorrow, because we know that now is not the moment to change the page, to move to another way and try to forget Norwich. It's impossible for us to forget the result of Norwich. It's impossible. What the positive thing is that we have tomorrow one game trying to forget the image that we gave the other day.
Is it hard, though, to draw a line under Tuesday night and forget about that for you players and then start afresh against what's going to be a very difficult opponent?
I think was difficult for us, and it's clear in the result that was difficult to arrive to the Norwich game in our good conditions to face the game. Was something that after Brentford was clear hard for us. After the Brentford, after the demanding, after the travel, after everything, and what we need to find now is in tomorrow game as a one option that we have to change this. And I prefer to play fast again the game, no because it's Rotterdam, no versus any opponent. We prefer to don't have many days between a bad performance and bad result to the next game, because the faster that you want to change the feeling is the better for you, the better for your mind, the better for your body, the better for everything. And in our mind and in the mind of the players is just to erase and change the image that we gave the other day to the football people.
Is it a must-win game against Rotherham?
It's a football game where it will be very important for us to take the 3 points. The 3 points will be very important for them too. So for both teams, 100% the points are going to be very important. And it's a very important game for us with any type of doubt.
And in terms of the players that you have available, firstly, is Ryan Schofield well again?
We are going to check how he's today in the training. He's going to train, and if everything was well, he will be the keeper tomorrow.
And then other players that were not available, Pipa, Vallejo, how are they?
They are going to training today, and after the training that we have at 3, we are going to see if they are available or not for tomorrow.
Okay, and likewise, Rolando Aarons, Josh Karoma, you'd said had come back into first team training again. Will they be judged after training today too? Yes,
it's the same idea. We know that some of these players have a good levels now to come compete the game, and another ones is different because depending about the duration of the injury, you want to be closer or more far of to come back to the football. But all of them are going to train today with the group.
That's great. Good luck tomorrow, Carlos. Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine. Ricky, we'll come to you, please.
Yeah, hi, Carlos. You okay? Sorry, did you mention Rolando Aarons in that little roundup there? Is he going to be available for you tomorrow?
He's one of the 25 players that are going to train today. Inside of these 25 players that we have right now, we are going to select the ones that we think are in better conditions to come go tomorrow for the game.
Umar Nias had a scan, I think it was on Monday or Tuesday before the Norwich game. How did that go? Did you get the results back from that?
Yes, at the end the scan was on Tuesday, and the result was no positive. He will be around 8 weeks to make the recovery of the injury, so we don't expect to have him from now until the end of the year or the season.
Right. So he's not going to feature before the end of the season then?
No, we don't expect to have him because the injury at the end in the back of the liquid that they find in the first scan, so that he has an injury and the duration more or less of the injury is going to be around 8 weeks.
Right. How big a blow is that? Because obviously he was someone that you brought in wanting to have an impact in these last few games, and obviously now he's out for the season.
Yes, it's clear that we didn't find a reason to sign him. We didn't sign him, but we did. But in the preparation for him in that friendly game that we were using to make him ready to help the team in this period of time, he suffered that injury that we need to assess, then we need to just keep going with the possibilities that we have right now. And of course, to make the best for him in the recovery, to help him to have a good recovery and a fast recovery, because he's part of our squad, even if he cannot play the games.
So obviously, if he's out for the season, obviously, is he contracted to the end of the season? Will that be a decision that you make at the end of the season?
No, I think we will sign him until the end of the year. It's clear that he is not going to play the games, and what happened after this year is something that now I'm not going to be now focused or giving the answer, because I concentrate just into make the team perform well tomorrow in the game.
Yeah. Just on Rotherham, obviously they're a really physical team, a really tall team, quite direct. How are you approaching that differently to Norwich? Because they're a team where, as we saw, they press high. They've got players dotted about all over. Rotherham are quite different, aren't they, to Norwich?
Yes, I think everyone in this league is competitive, but is competitive in different ways. I think Rotherham has a competitive style because they are very, like you say, they are directly. They are playing usually with two strikers. They are fighting a lot. They try to use a lot of advantage from every set pieces, and they are scoring goals, and they are very dangerous team in all the set pieces and from the early attacks. So we need to compete knowing that the game is going to move us to different ways, like the ways that versus Norwich, the game moves to us.
And in terms of, obviously, if you win tomorrow, you're 11 points clear of Rotherham. Do you think that is you safe if you win, or is it not job done yet?
I think we are in a challenge. We are in a battle to keep the team in the championship, and I will be fighting for this until we get the target.
And just lastly, just one player that I forgot to ask you about is Carol Aiting. Is there any update on him at all?
He started to training yesterday with the group. He arrived here and started to make the first training. Today he will do the second training, but we are going to make him training sometimes individually, sometimes with the group, to can have, because today, for example, the team have the preparation and he needs a specific preparation, not the preparation of the game. He needs his individual preparation to can start to get the football levels or the performance levels or the fitness level to can compete in the football. So with him and some of the players, we are going to share some of the training with the group, with the collective training, and other trainings more individual, trying to develop their levels the faster that we can.
Just a quick one on Tommy Elphick. I know he was on the bench the other day. How good is that to see that he's now available for selection for you for the first time?
We always say that for us, Tommy Elphick is one of the players that unfortunately we couldn't have him from the beginning of the year. I wasn't expect to have him involved in the team because I was watching a long-term injury, but he was showing that he's a high professional player and was very demanding with himself, trying to make a good recovery. In the last weeks, he was working with the team. In the last weeks, he was playing the beating games.
Yep.
In one game where we decided to play with three central backs, he was involved because in that game we did have, for example, Vallejo, that is a player that can cover the position. And we were thinking that after we wanted to play with three central backs, he could be an option from the bench.
And I suppose he'll be important if he's called upon because he's very experienced.
Yes, we know that he's a very experienced player. We know that he has done an amazing career in English football, in the British football. So he's one player that always we are going to analyze if he's in a better condition than the other ones, or if we think that the other players are in a better condition than him to perform in the football pitch in the moment that he is right now.
Thanks, Carlos. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Ricky. Stuart, if you pick up, please.
Hi, Carlos. When you've suffered such a disappointing defeat like that, do you analyse it more with the group, or do you analyse it less to try and move on from it?
Both things, but maybe less with the group and more with ourselves. 100%, because I think it's important. Just go to the necessary details of what defeat that one. We are now on to erase, and we cannot erase this performance, and it's not positive to erase and to forget about this, because if you forget, you can repeat. And the key is to don't repeat performance like that one. And to don't repeat performance like that one, it's important to analyze a little bit to know why the things we think that are why these problems arrive, why we didn't make the play now that we could do, why we didn't solve the throw-ins in defense like we could solve, why we solved well the set pieces, but why we didn't press well, or why especially we didn't defend in the low block well, because when you repeat one game similar to that one, you need to have a better solution, and sometimes the solution arrives after you make a feedback from the game. But without spend a lot of time for two reasons. The first one, because I think after the moment that we scored, we received the other day the third goal, the level of the competitiveness of the team, we decreased a lot how we compete in the pitch, and they were just too much better than us. And we start to be thinking that we couldn't have any option to go for the game. And the second thing is because you only have 3 days to prepare the next game. Instead, like including the recovery, you have just 2 days or 1 day to prepare the next day, and we are going to be a lot of focus too in the next game that we are going to play.
Have you suffered many defeats like this before, and have you been able to learn from them?
Being honest, like in every level is different. In each 23, I have one important defeat that we suffer a lot, and it's always important to find the reaction. But I have been watching many defeats on important teams, but no, I didn't talk about this because every team is different, because what we are known to find is that because this situation happened to another teams, we are going to accept this that happened to us. What we cannot do is this, like, of course, these things happen in football. If these things doesn't happen in football, they didn't happen to us. It was clear that Southampton was one team that suffered one result like that one, for example, during this year, and they faced this problem in the right way that we need to face the problem. Going to the next game and trying to play with a high level of mentality, with a high level of determination, and to trying to make your people forget fast about the result, even if we cannot forget, and always going to be ourselves, and it's going to be part of our image. That's why it's important to take the necessary conclusions to don't repeat performance like that one, because we know how hard it is for us, for our people, for the club, for everyone. Because when you are watching your team is suffering one defeat like that one, it's not the thing that is not the right thing.
And you've mentioned a few times set pieces at Norwich, and obviously they'll be very important against Rotherham. Is it important after a defeat like this to remind the players that there were still things that they did well, and to keep that fresh in their mind?
I think it's important to work in the things that didn't work. It's important to continue working in the things that work one day. The fact that something worked in one day doesn't mean that it's going to be working well in the next game. And the fact that something didn't work in one day doesn't mean that it's not going to work well in the next game. So that's why the football is always demanding, because you need to make that every single moment of the game work well every 2 days or every 3 days, after one high level of effort, after one very good result, or after one very negative result. And that's why it's not easy to be football player, because sometimes we analyze the games just by individually, but when you are playing a role, when you have many time to can recover or to can prepare in the perfect way, you need to give the answer, because everyone have to make the evaluation of every single game, just without link the game that you are playing right now. So it's something that is demanding for us. That's why it's not easy to be a professional coach or professional football player. That's why we are here, and what we need to show is that we have the skills enough to give the right answer to our club and for us too.
And you mentioned to Catherine, it's good to play quickly so that you can move on from it. Is it good as well that the next 2 games are both at home, where the team's perhaps more comfortable?
I think sometimes can help you. Of course, our numbers are being better at home than playing away, but we need to make from now until the end of the year to make our numbers work well away and work well at home too, because we have the need of the points and we need to make work very well in both scenarios. So now tomorrow we have an important game and it's at home. I don't think it's going to be easy because it's at home, but we know the context, we know our pitch, and especially we know how important for us is that game, and we know how important it is for us, for the table, for our honor, and for everything that is related with that game.
And apologies if you were asked this on Monday night, but Tuesday night. But Fraser Campbell was on the bench at Norwich. Is he fully fit and available for selection for Saturday?
Yes, after we play versus Brentford, he's having a problem that he tried to manage, and we make some extra recovery days in the international break because he has one problem in the Achilles. Thanks to now the problem have appeared in the moment that we have more striker, because during all the year in so many moments in so many games we only have the option to play with Campbell as a striker, because any of the players like now, for example, Sanogo or Danny Ward, are with the team. In a long period of time we only have the option to play with Campbell, and he was playing all the games in a row. I think maybe because he's suffering now some of the problems in the Achilles, and that's why the medical advice was to don't involve him many minutes in the previous game, because after the effort that he did versus Brentford, the best he didn't find in the 100% conditions to play that game.
And just finally from me, Sorba Thomas came off the bench and had a good impact. Have you been pleased with the rate of Sorba Thomas's development?
I think he's doing the things that has to do. He's working with the right mentality. It's very important to find a players that are playing with the right mentality. He's a very self-demanding player, and this is important. At the same time, he has a good level of confidence, something that is important too. Because if you are so demanding without no confidence, it's not going to work. If you have a lot of confidence and you are not self-demanding, it's not going to work in football. But when you have a good balance between the two things, can be a very positive thing. And he was working hard. He was following a lot the ideas that we have with him as a player. He was adapting well in the play that he was adapting. He was playing many minutes in the B team. That's why he was playing enough minutes before he arrived here during this year, and he was playing from he arrived here many minutes in the B team. I think now is one player that can be available to be as a starting player or to be in the bench. Is one option more that we are considering to think to go with the best players to the pitch.
Thank you very much, Carlos.
Thanks, Stuart. Nathan, just checking in. Are you okay?
Yeah. Can I ask one thing, please? A couple of things, please.
No.
The first thing, what was the team talk at half time? Like, what was your plan for the second half of the game after being down 5-0?
First of all, is knowing that we have many people in our back that make us to go to the game and to continue fighting, forgetting the result of the game. It's clear that after go 5-0, it's going to be very difficult to take 1 point or 3 points in that game. But at the same time, I want to be people in our back. I want to be people supporting. What we need to do is to try to face the second half better than we were facing the first half, trying to correct the moments where we didn't perform well. Like I told you, in attack or in defense, we changed the idea to play with 3 central backs to play with 4 central backs. With 4 defenders, because for me, the idea to play with 3 central backs didn't work in that game. A lot of time we were watching a relation between a central back and one winger that was making a clear difference in their favor, and we suffered the consequence of this relation in the pitch. So the idea was to start to create a better relation with the opponents, having, first of all, attacking with line of 4, that for me held the team to attack better, and defending with line of 4, because in that moment of the game, I think it was better for us to create the line of 4.
Thank you. And how do you build the team's spirit back? Like, how do you build that spirit back up for the Rotherham game? Because, you know, it's only been a very short gap since the Norwich game. So how do you make sure that the team's spirit and morale is back to how it should be for the game?
I think sometimes, like, the pain that all of us we suffer is too much. Sometimes you don't have to spend a lot of time building this spirit, because the spirit has to be inside of every of ourselves. Because after you concede one result, 7 goals in one game like that one, there is not many words that are going to support us or the team need. Now, what we need is to show tomorrow the feeling that we have in ourselves, because we have the clear decision and determination trying to change the feeling that we have.